Welcome to the Lab to Cart podcast, where we explore the intersection of AI and the future of shopping. Our goal is to educate and inspire listeners about the potential of AI in the e-commerce, retail, and D2C sectors. I'm your host, Jimmy Slagle, and let's not wait and get into the podcast. What's going on, Paul? Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you taking the time to chat. Excited about this episode. And if you wouldn't mind, just give everyone the quick rundown of who you are and what Huupe is.
Hey, Jimmy, thanks so much for having me, man. My name's Paul Anton, co-founder and CEO at Huupe. We're building the world's first smart basketball hoop that allows you to train like a pro, track your performance, and play against other hoop users from around the world.
I love it. I can tell you got that dialed in, which is great. And we were talking about it a little bit before. Huupe raised, what was it, 11 million in their seed round about half a year ago now. So yeah, they're doing some really cool stuff. Make sure you go check it out. And the cool thing is, and correct me if I'm wrong, I know the last time we spoke, but almost all that's coming from organic / like influencer partnerships, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Over a year ago now, and that was over the course of 4 years, though. All that total 11 million. So it was pre-seed and seed, 3 million pre-seed, 8 million seed, and that's how we got here. Some really great investors.
Dang, yeah, that's awesome. Well, obviously, this podcast talks about just AI and the future of retail, future of shopping, future of e-commerce, where that world is headed. And so I always love to start with the question of where do you think that AI is today? Do you think it's overhyped, underhyped, properly hyped, if you will? Give me just your thought process on where AI is at.
It's properly hyped. It is already saving billions of dollars on costs, and it's already just changing the landscape of everything in the flash of a pan. It's really happening faster than anything I've ever seen in the tech world, but it's already saving companies billions of dollars on their content creation, their models that they're working with, influencers that they're working with. It's already the biggest game changer I've experienced in my 30 years on this earth.
Yeah, totally. Have you guys started to implement any AI systems, tools, whatever you want, in how you guys are pumping out content or anything when it comes to just making you guys leaner and meaner?
Yes, we're using a lot of it. If you go to huupe.com right now, HUUPE.com, you'll see a bunch of AI generated images on there. We're using it for our website, and we're using it for our in-app experience as well, with animations and even some code writing.
Interesting. I love it. So I'm really curious to get your thoughts on this. Most people that I talk to on this podcast talk about how they think that AI has a lot of potential, but as it stands today, what AI is able to, I guess, produce isn't yet at a point at which they're like, oh my gosh, I need this. It's kind of like, oh yeah, that's cool. I can see where it's going. But I don't think anyone has been like, yeah, product images are way better than anything that we've been able to get elsewhere. And so I'm curious, like, I guess, how did you guys get to that point of where you do feel like, okay, this is really good. We want to use it everywhere possible, showcase it everywhere. Do you think it was just finding the right tools? Do you think it was learning how to use those tools best? Walk me through what you think you guys have done to see great results from AI.
Yeah, we take a unique strategy to this, and it might sound a little odd, but we actually like to hire 22 to 25-year-olds because they are the innovators. They learn. When I was 22 to 25, I was on YouTube studying YouTube tutorials, getting my MBA in Alpha YouTube. And I think hiring young people when they see this, I mean, we want to hire people who love AI and who want to learn it because it is the future. So we've hired some really great interns this summer, some younger folks on the associate side and young analyst side who are joining our team who are just using AI and are fascinated by it and then learning everything from YouTube tutorials.
Wow. And how'd you find these interns? Was it just job postings or were you going to colleges or what did that look like?
We have so many kids reaching out to us on LinkedIn. I try to answer every message, but there's some really great kids out there. And if we haven't done one project, we've had interns for all summer. We had 8 interns this summer, all paid, and they're all doing really, really well.
Wow. Wow. And what do you think has helped you guys to be able to have those interns that come in and crush it? I mean, was it immediate results like right away? Was there a learning curve? Because I'm sure a lot of e-commerce companies or even SaaS products within the e-commerce space have tried to go that route, and probably have struck out or have the horror stories of the interns that they've hired. So what do you think you guys have been able to do to have that be a experience where you guys are getting great results? I'm sure they're learning a ton. Walk me through just how you guys have been able to pull that off.
Well, with all the hardships that come with hardware, it is one of the most more fascinating. It's not just an app; it's actually
Yeah.
something we're building. So people are generally interested in that. And then, I mean, look at our interns. We got Sam Himes, who was at Harvard and Georgetown. We got Ethan Choi, who was at Berkeley. Simon, who's at Berkeley. Even Ivan and Gabe. I want to shout out all the interns this summer. Dimitri, Nico, who are at Michigan State. Alyssa, all these interns. Ken's, all these interns who helped us this summer are amazing, and they all reached out to us on LinkedIn because they love basketball. But not more than that, they were just fascinated by AI. That was one of the key core competencies we were looking for this summer internship program.
Hmm. I mean, it's smart because I think these kids are starting to realize, and one of my takes is AI is going to make it so everyone can probably, at least for now, as it stands today, AI is going to be able to replace people that aren't able to get up to probably like that 80% skill level. And obviously, the people at most risks of that are going to be young college students or recent grads that are just entering the workforce. And so, they're the ones that have to learn how to use AI more than anyone else, because without them knowing how to best, I guess, differentiate themselves or how to best use AI, it's going to be tough to stand out. And so I think that's a really really brilliant strategy. Going back to my original point, you guys have obviously grown a lot organically. Do you think that comes from your guys' strategy, or do you think that comes more so from the like having a really cool product or a product that a lot of people are interested in? Think it's a combination of both, or just walk us through how you've built a brand to where students and people are wanting to come and work for you and reaching out probably daily, to have that opportunity.
A lot of it does come from the product itself, but the other just comes from the transparency. We just put ourselves out there. We launched way ahead of schedule. Definitely embarrassed by our first prototypes, but we put ourselves out there. We weren't afraid to, and that's I think that's the biggest thing for us as we continue. We're not afraid to just go for it, put ourselves out there, post all over social media, show what we're doing, show the internals, and uh, that's really the secret to us is putting ourselves out there.
Yeah. And are you guys focusing on any channels in particular? Is it TikTok? Is it Reels? Is it YouTube? Walk me through what your strategy's been so far.
Our strategy has been Instagram and TikTok. Those are the two focuses. We tested everything at first: Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, Threads. We even got on some other social media apps. We tried. We tested them all. We realized Instagram and TikTok were the way to go. So we've dialed in just exclusively on those now. And we still do our YouTube short uploads because it's really easy to do. And we try to do the other ones, but it's really Instagram and TikTok. And we're doing that all in house internally.
Wow. Wow. And have you guys been able to find any AI tools that have helped with even editing the content or making that process a lot more efficient? Because a lot of the people probably listening to this show are early stage e-commerce brands, and trying to balance everything is extremely difficult. And the idea of organic socials there, I mean, I've talked to so many founders back when we were doing our TikTok marketing agency, where these brands know that they need to be on TikTok. The issue is like they try for a week, don't see results, get burned out. So how have you guys been able to streamline that process? Obviously, you guys are bigger now, but what tools, how has AI helped you in that?
Execution, making it a priority at the company, like just as important as hardware and software team, making it a priority and a full team that we focus on every single day. That's the number one thing. Without that, it doesn't matter if you're using AI or not. If that's not a focus for a company, you're not going to do well. So we decided to focus on social media. Thankfully, to our advisors like Aristotle and Audie, who were pressuring us, like, you guys got to hit social media harder. And we did. And then from there, yes, we do use AI tools, a lot of them, to create content, edit. Uh, yes, we do.
Yeah, I love it. Do you guys have any like specific AI tools at the top of your head that you guys have found most helpful? Obviously, ChatGPT is one that I think most brands are starting to use, but are there any others that you found, or even just expanding on how you guys best use ChatGPT to help with all your processes?
ChatGPT and Midjourney are honestly the top two that we use right now.
Yeah, I agree. And so and Paul, I don't know if we've spoken since we launched our swimsuit company where we're having AI do everything, but same thing. I mean, we've tried a lot of different tools, and it seems like Midjourney and ChatGPT are the two that we keep coming back to on a regular basis. Have you I guess found any ways to best use ChatGPT? Like, have you found a kind of formula of success on that platform?
I dial in for like 2 hours on the same prompt, and I just iterate, iterate, iterate. And I love to dial in for a couple hours at a time on one prompt to get
Yeah.
it right on Midjourney too.
Yeah, yeah. Midjourney, it takes some skill to
Yeah,
get the right images. I mean, we
yeah.
were working on that for hours. But yeah, when those are fun sessions when you just go down the rabbit hole of how can I best use ChatGPT, keep iterating, and yeah, it's funny. I don't know if you've experienced this, but sometimes ChatGPT will just get stuck on one format, and trying to have it forget about that specific format becomes tough. So yeah, it's a process. It's a process for sure.
Yeah, it is.
So another thing, Paul, that I love to ask about is how do you guys stay up to date in finding what AI tools are available? I think ChatGPT and Midjourney are two that a lot of people know about, but for all the other ones that are just launching or are smaller, how do you stay in the loop with all the advancements in AI?
Every day I read Twitter, New York Times, and the Journal Sentinel in Milwaukee, and those are like my three readings, and then a couple of books, but that's it. So everything I get is from those sources. Twitter and X is where we're getting all the latest and greatest.
Yeah. Twitter's I still think it's slept on. And that was one of my frustrations when it was like last fall and I had started to talk about AI and we were really focusing on that, is I would go on Twitter and I'd see, tons of tweets coming out about the future of AI, tools that are being released, how brands are using it, and then LinkedIn, and even other platforms for that matter, it was almost impossible to find anything on AI. And I'm like, what? Like, this is going to be a very transformational technology, and LinkedIn is just, not even talking or no one's talking about it there. So Twitter is definitely the one that I recommend people definitely check out. I'm sure if you just go to Paul's following or followers and look at some of the tech people or people in tech, you'll be able to stay in the loop too. So another thing, Paul, and I love to ask this question as well. If there was one thing that you could have AI do for you when it comes to, again, just where the world of shopping is going, and so any process that you're like, man, I cannot wait for the day for AI to be able to automate and replace this process. Do you have any in mind or some that you're hoping come out sooner than later?
Yeah, definitely research, market research. If I could take my daily readings and shrink that, but also that's a good question. Let me think about that. All the processes that I would automate using AI, there's a lot, Jimmy. There's a lot. If I could really think about it and hone in, I'd probably have a list of 10. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I wish I would have thought of that one before this.
No, yeah, no, it's there's a lot, and it's a loaded question. I think for me, going through the swimsuit experiment, the big thing that I've learned is like AI still hasn't been able to cross the mile at which it makes decisions based on data instead of just what is like, I guess, the predictable answer. Meaning, can you have ChatGPT write you a headline for your web or hero text for your website that's based on conversion rate data, or can you have it write an email that's based on conversion rate data or click through data? And so for me, like that's the big area that I'm waiting for AI to kind of get to is away from just kind of like the simplicity of it doing a lot to actually like data driven decisions on this is why it's generating X. is because of, what it's seen from the data side of things. So for me, that's a big one that I'm looking forward to.
Definitely, definitely, and that's a good point. We should note that AI is a tool. It's like we still have to be the drivers of that tool, and uh, processes like that are great. But I think it's still important to have some element of the human decision making in there, and we still hone our skills as humans because AI is a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool.
Do you think it could ever become more than a tool? Do you think it could become something that, I guess, replaces the need for certain roles and respond, like customer support, for example? Do you think we'll be able to get to a point? Because I think that's the one that a lot of people are realizing, like, okay, yeah, AI, is arguably able to come in and probably do just as well or better than, the current solutions out there. So do you think that there are some industries where AI will be more than that tool and honestly replace a majority of them?
I think within the next 50 years, we'll see AI governed bodies and sovereignties. We'll see AI governed businesses, board decision meetings. AI is going to really take over a lot of different things, but the most successful will always be led by humans for the next 100 years. We won't get to see it. I hope. I hope so.
Yeah, I agree. AI is obviously a hot topic, and when we start to think out even 50 years, like this world could look incredibly different than what it does today. What advice do you have for people that might be worried that, AI is going to replace their job, or they're worried that, just it's going to be a negative for humanity because of that aspect? Do you think that has some basis? Do you think that, AI is going to be just a good thing for the world, or kind of walk me through more your ethical thoughts on AI in the future?
I think it will be generally good for most of humanity most of the time. But I would say continue to live your life and have fun, but learn these tools along the way. It doesn't hurt to take a few hours a week to read up on it, go to do some YouTube tutorials on how to use ChatGPT. It's just like Microsoft Word and Excel. Everyone should have those skills. Learn how to use ChatGPT so it can help you. Learn how to use Midjourney if you want to take it to the next level, and just learn the tools along the way, and don't be scared. Because you only live once. Still live your life. Don't never let fear overtake any part of your daily life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's a really good that's a good way of putting it. I mean, for now it is a tool, and if you can learn how to use it earlier, that's what's going to be the best thing that you can do to protect yourself. I mean, I love the quote. I'm sure it's overused by now, but it's like AI won't replace you, a person using AI will. And I think that is the biggest piece of advice that I give. It's just like don't put up a wall to this technology. Like, even if you don't like it, still learn how to use it and how other people are using it, because it is coming, and it will be a scary thing if you don't know how to use it. And so, yeah, I think you're spot on.
Yeah, but also, those people going into the trades who just, there are some people who cannot use computers. A lot of my friends, they still can't use computers, but they're going to be millionaires. They're already in the services and the industry. They're already, becoming electricians, plumbers, and starting their own businesses. So there will be success in that too. So if you're one of those people that just can't do it, you don't want to touch it, don't want to do anything with tech, learn a trade, rake in the dough that way.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously, that's very true. I mean, I think that those types of jobs are definitely going to become more and more
Mhm.
um, in demand as the world continues to progress. So, Paul, another question I have for you too is, I guess, where do you see AI going in the next year or 2 years? If there was kind of you know, I'm sure you've stayed up to date with what tools are there. There are some that are probably like, yeah, this is okay, or you kind of had that general baseline. Like even all the Shopify tools that are coming out, where they kind of have that co-pilot. I think in a year it's going to be really powerful of what those tools can do. But I'm curious, just like where do you think that, or based on what you've seen, where do you think the world of AI and e-commerce is going to be a year from now?
A year from now, entertainment will be hit the hardest. They need to learn how to deal with this. Stars will be stars, but influencers, companies are starting their influencer creations right now, where it's going to save thousands and thousands of dollars using an influencer they create for free. So uh, just be ready for that, everybody.
Yeah, I know. And I was talking to Lindsey Bond, who used to work at TikTok, and we had this same idea of like I think that AI generated like brand influencers are going to become almost the new celebrity influencer, where companies like Hoop create this AI person that has their own TikTok or Instagram and makes or posts images on their own, similar to like Lil Miquela. But I think the first companies that start to implement that technology are going to crush it because everyone's going to be like, this is nuts. So I don't know if I just gave away your guys' marketing plan for 2024, but I think that that is going to be a really, really brilliant strategy for the first, 10% of people that use it.
Yeah. You want to pay a celebrity millions of dollars to do this, or do you want to pay close to nothing to have your own influencer if you really know how to crush it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally, totally. So Paul, as we wrap up here, another thing that I like to more so end the show with, and that is, what is that one hot take? What is that one piece of advice? What is just kind of like that statement that you just hold whenever you're talking about AI with people, that either you wish more people knew, or that you just kind of just have a strong foundation of like I believe this and I'm very firm in my belief. What is that one statement or again hot take or anything that you think that people should know when it comes to AI and just the future of shopping?
Learn the tools. If I had one piece of advice for entrepreneurs, it's to never give up, sell before you build, and just keep learning every day. But as for e-commerce and AI, it's the future. Learn about it, learn how to implement it into your brands, and you'll succeed.
I love it. I love it. Well, Paul, thank you so much for coming on the show. Seriously, we really appreciate all your insights. This was a lot of fun, and yeah, just appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jimmy. Pleasure as always, man.
All right.